Hi and welcome to this Blue Healer tutorial. This is a time-lapse version of a much longer tutorial which is in real time on my Patreon channel, and that is about 3.5 hours. So I started off by going in to do the eyes. I like to do the eyes first so we get a sort of a focal point to work out from. So as you can see, there are all sorts of colours in there. The eyes are reflecting what is around them, so they act kind of like a mirror. So you can see in those eyes the tree line, and you can see the sky, and you can see everything that's sort of going on around them. And it helps to give you a point of life. So not only are the eyes the soul to the dog, but they are also giving you the surroundings in which that dog is in. So it helps to bring that dog off the page. So you can see what I'm doing now is I've gone in and I've put in the base layers, which are going to make the start of the detail of the actual fur. So I like to map in my colors, my shapes, and I go in the direction in which the fur is going in, because you don't want to put things down that are going to mesh with things later on. So what we're doing at the moment is we're creating that sort of guide to follow to be able to then put the details in on top. So I'm using this second photo you can see to do the ear detail, because the ear detail in the original photo was quite blurry, quite distorted, couldn't really see what was going on. So we're using this second photo just to help. And you will have to do this a lot when you're doing pet portraits, because you won't always have the exact right photograph. So you will sometimes need to refer to other photos in order to help you see what you can't see. So I'm now going in and I'm starting to do the fur, the hair on top of the face. And I started on this one going from light to dark, which is it's not something I feel particularly comfortable with. I like going from dark to light. But when you've got those really strong, bright, white, sort of intense colors, you really don't want to be going in with the dark colors first, because it will end up looking quite muddy. It won't look completely clean. You want to keep that vibrancy. So you want to be going in with the white colors first to keep that really bright tone as you then move up to up to the darker colors, which is sort of meshed in this case. It's quite a mottled sort of color. There's lots of different colors going on. It's kind of freckly, kind of speckled. So you want to make sure that you're getting all those colors in, but you're keeping that intensity of the white. And then I've gone in and I've done the sort of the eyebrow area. I've gone around the eyes. So that's kind of like it's like a reddy sort of burnt ochre, burnt orange kind of tone. So I've gone in with those sort of orange auburn tones, and then I've gone back in again with the sort of the lighter tones on top. So in that sense, I was able to go in with the darker colors first and then work up to the light colors. It very much depends on the image that you're drawing as to how you work. And with this one, I think I did a bit of dark to light, did a bit of light to dark, and I experimented with both to sort of show both ways of doing it. So again, I've gone in with the black soft pastel there, and I'm just creating that base layer to then work on top of. So I tend to go in with soft pastel sticks, normally unison, or the pan pastels, and I create that base layer. You don't want to put too much on. You want a really sort of thin layer, because you want to be able to work on top of it. You don't want to be filling the tooth of the page early on, because then you can't go in with the pencils on top to create the details. So again, I'm using that second photo to do this ear, because again, the ear is slightly distorted. It's a bit blurry. You can't really see what's going on. So I've gone in and I've used this second photo to be able to see the detail of the hairs on the ear. So again, I'm putting in that base layer, that map. I've used the soft pastels to sort of map in my colors. I've got that sort of bright intensity or that really deep dark tone. And then I can then go in with the pencils on top. So I'm using the pencils to create that really beautiful detail in the ears. And it's not just one color. You don't just have, one sort of overlapping color, one hair. And I think that's a mistake that you quite often see when people haven't been doing this for particularly long, or you're just starting out. You kind of think, oh, I can see, a blonde hair, so I'm just going to go in with this one color and then it's done. Whereas actually you've got all of these layers, and all of these layers together, all of these colors together, they make that beautiful detail that makes this look realistic and makes it, jump off of the page. So you do want to be going in and making sure that you gradually build those layers. If you try and go in too quickly with those really, really light tones on top of dark tones, they tend to go grainy as well. So you want to be gradually building up through those colors to get to the really lovely bright colors at the top. So I hope this has given you a bit of an insight into what we cover in this first part of the tutorial of this Blue Healer. It's a four-parter, so I will release the next part next week to show you what we covered in part two. The real-time tutorial is over on my Patreon. There are reference images, outline drawings, and all the materials that I've used are listed on there. So do check that out if you're interested in drawing along, and I will release the next time lapse next week. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful, and I'll catch up with you guys soon. Take care. Bye.